This video should have been made months ago. I should have made it back when we first got the announcement for Sonic X Shadow Generations. We were all thinking this, but no one really said it. I mean, they did, but not as harsh as what I'm going to say now. SEGA as a company likes to cut corners when it comes to these sort of things. Sonic Colors Ultimate, that was a botched port. Technically SEGA's fault, but even then, I'm going to blame the incompetency of Blind Squirrel Games on that. But now, this time, they have no excuse. This is SEGA's fault. This is being done in-house by Sonic Team, and SEGA gets pretty much full access to everything. This is their project, not Blind Squirrel's. And the Sonic Generations Remastered that we were promised, by the way, this is a remaster. It doesn't look better. In fact, in some instances, as pointed out by SF Productions, it looks worse. This was originally just going to be a longer video detailing why Sonic Frontiers didn't have individual grass blades like Sonic Forces did, but now I realize that we could have gotten that with Sonic Generations Remaster, but we didn't. What we are getting with Shadow Generations is not a Sonic Generations Remaster, it is a port, and even then, it is downscaled. Not as much as Sonic Colors Ultimate, but it is downscaled. And why are we just laying back and accepting this? Us Sonic fans in the past have been so unwilling to accept mediocrity, and I feel as though we are excusing it now, and no one's saying anything. Before I get into that whole argument, let me talk about the actual remaster in question, or demaster as I like to call it here. If we're gonna talk about a Sonic remaster, we have to bring up Sonic Colors Ultimate at this point. I like Sonic Colors Ultimate, but it is very much so a bad port, and almost a bad game because of the glitches. This is nowhere near close to it, and if someone tries to spin my words into being like that, then just show them this clip. I am not trying to say this is on the level of Sonic Colors Ultimate. It isn't. This looks way better. This is a much better port than Sonic Colors Ultimate, but I want to bring up what could have been, what SEGA could have done if they weren't so lazy. All we have to go off of right now is some trailer footage and both of the first stages for Modern Sonic and Classic Sonic. Now, compared to the original Sonic Generations, there are only two issues that I noticed. One of them is the grass being a different color from the actual grass texture. It is almost a yellow, in fact. And two, pretty much all of the textures have been downscaled, or at least from the footage that we've seen, they look worse than the original Sonic Generations. How is that possible? I know porting over everything from a game is somewhat difficult, but why did all of the textures get downgraded? Same with the grass, too. I feel like they'd have to deliberately go in and change that if it was going to be another color. So what's the point? Now, everything else looks fine. I'm not going to go over any other footage for the other stages because everything literally looks like the other Sonic Generations, except for the fact that the backgrounds aren't blurred anymore. I personally like this choice. There is so much background detail that we can't see in the original that it just looks kind of bland compared to the video games that we get now. But we can finally see all of that detail in the back, and it's gonna look so pretty, I can guarantee. It almost seems like false advertising to call this a remaster if not for the new additions like the reanimated cutscenes and the new missions. It just kind of makes me sad to think about what could have been, because go back to what Zippo said about this game before it was revealed at the PlayStation Showcase. The game, fully remade from the ground up in Unreal Engine 5. That would be beautiful. It would look so much better, and if they made the shadow portion in the Unreal Engine 5, it wouldn't even feel out of place. It would feel like a complete package, instead of one being two console generations in front of the other. Now, I know that Sonic Colors Ultimate undoubtedly looks worse than the original, but at least it looks like there are some graphical enhancements to make it look at least somewhat next-gen. There was an attempt, but I don't even see an attempt here. Now, either one of two things. Sonic Generations was a last-minute addition to this complete package. I definitely see that happening. There's no way that it looks almost the exact same and they're calling it a remaster, if not for the fact that it was just slapped on there. Or two, SEGA doesn't want another Sonic Colors Ultimate, but I do not know why that they would be concerned about that if this was made in-house. So basically, SEGA doesn't have any excuse. I have my money on the second, but I am putting a little bit of faith in the first. there's no way that they wanted another Sonic Colors Ultimate, so they just ported it. But it was a last-minute addition because the Shadow Generation segment looks so much better, and they didn't have time to fully remake Sonic Generations as well, so they just slapped a port on there. Most likely, the PC port, because that already runs at 60 frames per second at 4K. Like, there's no way this wasn't just slapped onto Shadow Generations. I don't know. But I am tired with accepting the fact that SEGA, at their very core, still doesn't care all that much. They could have made a fully remastered Sonic Generations, and it would have been beautiful with Sonic Team's help. But they didn't choose to do that. They chose to make a new game, and a remaster that's just a port. I would not be mad if they advertised it as a port of Sonic Generations to go along with Shadow Generations, but the fact that they are calling it a remaster is almost disrespectful to us as consumers. We are paying for a 13-year-old game that doesn't look any better. In fact, it looks worse. And SEGA has the balls to call it a remaster. Why do we accept this again? Please, someone tell me why. I expected to talk about what could have been with a remaster more, or the remaster in question, but no, I'm sitting here talking about how SEGA just doesn't care. And we don't care either. Like, when was the last time you heard someone say, no, we should not accept Sonic Generations as a remaster if it looks worse? Like, legitimately. While this isn't a botched port like Colors Ultimate was, it is upsetting to know what SEGA could have done with their resources and how amazing this game would have looked. But no, we're stuck here with a game that looks worse than its original counterpart. Obviously, I'm still gonna buy the game, I'm still gonna play Sonic Generations like I said, but this just rubs me the wrong way. I can't believe that we're at a point where we are accepting a game that looks worse because something is packaged next to it that looks infinitely better, when both things should be on the same standard. Hey everyone, editing SanicBoi here. I just thought about this fact after I was done editing the entire video. SEGA has been shown to care so much about the fans more recently, with like changes to every sort of thing you can imagine, down to little details of animation in Sonic Frontiers. And it's so crazy that they put on this facade of like caring about the fans, but then they pull something like this, even though they knew that we would love a Sonic Generations full remaster, but instead it's just a port, because they're just so scared of upsetting us that they just settle for mediocrity, which they know that we will eat up because of Shadow Generations, so we'll just accept it. I can't believe that. In fact, that's kind of like the whole point of this video, is the fact that SEGA is too scared to give us anything new or different like what they did with Sonic Colors Ultimate, so they're just going for the least that they can, and that's just upsetting to me. I'll let past SanicBoi do his thing, and I'll see you all sometime soon. Bye. You know, it's just upsetting to see Sonic fans roll over and accept it. But that's going to be all for me. If you can subscribe, please, because we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers whenever we do that. Also, I go live every Saturday at 11 a.m. PST and 2 p.m. EST. We always have a fun time. Please just come check it out. That will be all for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.